I mean, first off, it's an incredible story with an incredible cast. So I was very excited just to get to Ireland, which is a beautiful country. And we shot in the Wicklow Mountains, and we were all just sort of holed up in this little castle, this little manor in the middle of Ireland. So we didn't have anybody but each other. And when you're playing kind of like a messed up family, you bond pretty quickly. You know what I mean? You have to have these connections. And I don't know if there was like a specific moment where I was like, oh wow, like I'm never gonna forget this. But just the experience overall, playing someone who didn't have any respect for anybody. So when I'm doing scenes with Sebastian Stan or even Crispin Glover, I don't look them in the eye. I don't talk to them. Like I talk to them, but like I don't talk to them. When you have a conversation with someone, you give them the time of day. Meerkat doesn't do that. So I had a blast just kind of like giving them the cold shoulder and making them have to act with the side of my face. That was fun for me. I mean, I think everyone was super passionate about the project before we started filming. So, when you work with people who care so much, like Crispin Glover is obviously a legend and an incredible actor, but he had such a distinct vision for Uncle Julian. And I knew before I got there, I was like, when I heard he was cast, I was thrilled because I was like, oh, this is going to be an interesting mind with an interesting take on the character, something I'm never going to see before. And that's absolutely true. I love that Stacey, the director, always went back to the book. And that's something Crispin loved. He always had the book with him. And he's like, when we were about to film a scene and something didn't sit right with him, he's like, I don't think this doesn't make sense for Uncle Julian. I loved how assertive he was in the fact that he took ownership over the character. He knew Uncle Julian better than anybody. And that's something I admired. I feel like I did the same thing with Meerkat, but when you see someone else do it who's older than you, more experienced, you just sort of, they paved the way and they tell you it's okay to, better. If you know the character you're taking on, you know better than anyone, so you don't have to rely on other people's opinions if you disagree. Sebastian's a fun guy. He's incredibly talented, just a joyous personality, loves to have fun. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because it's like, okay, you talk about something, you're just like, oh, everyone's so great. But genuinely, we all had fun. Everyone was there to play their very distinct character. And it was 4 very different personalities mixed in a scene. And the chemistry there was just fun to be a part of. I mean, for me, it was I read the script first and then I went back and I read the book. And I've read the book multiple times since then. What I loved about the original novel is just for me, it was the tone of it. I loved the contradictions. I love that it had this feeling of something being so twisted and foreboding, yet there's almost this fairy tale glaze over it. And I think the best example of that is Alex Daddario when she's telling, when Constance is telling you bad news and she's telling you it's fine, everything's fine, and she's smiling at you. I love those contradictions. I love the contradiction of Meerkat, who's this old soul and this young mind. And for me, yeah, it was a mix of the tone and the story to be told. It wasn't something that just made sense. You had to go along for the ride.